What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Look, everyone talks about closing deals in commercial real estate, of course. But when you're actually in the trenches, like I have been for 7+ years, you learn stuff that they don't teach you in textbooks or on real estate exams. Saturday mornings are my favorite time to YouTube because I was thinking back about a 16-unit apartment building that closed Wednesday. It was a hard-fought battle, and I think every lesson on closings that we're going to talk about today came up throughout the process of winning this deal for the client. So here's 12 things, call them closing secrets, that I've learned the hard way, not from hypotheticals, but from real life deals. Whether you're selling or buying for yourself or selling or buying for clients, you can apply these 12 lessons to gain success in commercial real estate today. Let's go. All right, number one, don't retrade without receipts. This is crucial. Be specific in any request that you make of the other party. If you have to retrade, God forbid, don't wing it. No vague stuff like, hey, this roof looks like in the next few years, it's weathered, it's gonna need to be replaced. You're not a roofer. You're not a plumber, likely. You might be. Get a real invoice from a certified pro and present it to the other side. I have found that most people like to make things right, but you, as the closer, have to remove the mystery, or you'll end up squabbling over nonsense to get this deal closed. It might take some more effort. It might take an extension sometimes, but if you define any problem that you encounter, retrade or not, exactly define it. It will be worth it in the long term and lead to a close. Define your problems. Number two, folks, co-brokering is completely underrated. Do you know what's more fun as an agent than doing it alone and doing all the work? Is co-brokering with someone who's just as skilled as you are. Certainly you need to vet that. But to work on the other side of a closer in many times is a golden opportunity. I'm completely convinced that two active brokers can move 4 times as fast. More volume, more clients, more connections, more deals, and more closings. Look, our company at SVN, which I'm personal to, we're actually known as collaborators. That's literally what our reputation is. Hey, you work with us, you're gonna get paid. Highly recommend that attitude to you. As your network expands, so will your wins. It's simple. Take care of other brokers in your community. Number 3, expectations are everything. You have to define them early and often and remind people of them. Let's talk about pricing. Have you worked with your seller in the early part of a deal on what the asset is actually worth? Have you talked with them about the expectations of your effort within the plan? What about the timeline of the deal? Are you the person, and you likely are going to be, that's holding everyone down to the day on when due diligence needs to be done, when escrow money goes hard, or when the actual closing period ends? Look, you got to define expectations for all parties. I mean, I've literally embedded countdowns into my emails so that they tick down to remind people in a live way, how much due diligence time do I have left? Pushing aggressively but politely for a close has never once backfired. Define your expectations, especially of timing. And number 4, you have to embrace technology or you're gonna get left behind. Why? Because I can literally get anybody's signature in about 15 seconds on DocuSign. And it wasn't just 4 or 5 years ago where in commercial, we're still passing documents back and forth and scanning and signing. Now it's like, bam, and it's done. Technology can make your life easier and your closings faster. Do you have your systems and efficiency set up, even on your mobile device, so that if you need something signed, listing agreement, contract, LOI, etc., you can fire it over while you're watching your kid's soccer game and get it done? Now, true story, I recently sold a building for a client who was in her 90s and didn't have an email or mobile device at all. And every change to the contract, I drove to her house and I just remember thinking, literally, is this what people did? It was so slow. You can't be slow. All right, number 5, make MVPs of every party in the transaction. It's not that I mean suck up to people. It's that you need to understand that paralegals and property managers are the superheroes of the commercial real estate world. They're actually going to help you get these deals done if you know who they are, realize the job they're doing, and honor the effort that they're putting into the property. Paralegals are the ones that are making closings happen with deeds and documents. And if you can find an attorney with a closer paralegal, stick to them like glue and remind everyone of the big picture. Bring everyone into the deal and let them know, hey, your job is so important to this transaction and the overall success of it. Make every deal a team win, right? Deals move faster when everyone is invested. So you've got to work well and play with others. Most of the ancillary service providers you'll work with are compensated differently than you, by the way, whether it's hourly or paid by the project. Whereas as a broker and as an investor, you're compensated when the deal closes. So build a network around you of closers. Number 6, you need to do the due diligence on your listings before they ever even launch. This is a shout out to my CCIM 101 professor, Blake Strickland. This one is straight from him. I've used it. It works. I want to give it to you. Organize the files on the property before a buyer ever even asks. That way you can hold them to a tighter timeline. A neat file equals fewer excuses. A messy desktop equals lost deals. Organize your stuff on every property and make sure the due diligence stuff is ready to share. Justin, that's a buyer's job or a buyer's agent job. What I'm saying is you should do somebody else's job so that you know it's done right and you've got the property and the process on lockdown. Okay, my friends, historic day for the Justin Ryder YouTube channel. Why? Because it's my very first sponsor. This video is sponsored by Clayton and Crume, and I want to thank them for coming on board as my very first sponsor. Look, in commercial real estate, details matter, from how you show up and what you're wearing in your appearance to how you follow through, build the relationship, and create momentum for the next deal. So here's the bonus tip. Get a really good closing gift. One of my favorite closing gifts to give are Clayton and Crume Rocks glasses. Imagine you're my client, we close a deal, and you open up these beautiful rock glasses covered in fine Italian leather, personalized with your initial. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. And instead of a nice bottle of wine or a bottle of bourbon or a gift card, you actually give them something that they remember you every time they sit down and have a drink. So personal gifts with initials and notes like these Clayton and Crume leather goods, they're the easiest and best way to make a lasting impression and show your appreciation for the trust. Guys, that's what I write on every thank you note to a client after I close a deal. I say, thank you for your trust. And a gift goes a long way to continue to build that friendship. My thanks to Clayton and Crume for sponsoring this video and for producing gifts that make a lasting impression. All right, number 7, when your commission gets questioned, and it will, you need to practice this line. Ready? Thank you. I'm ready to move on from that part of the conversation. And then move on. Seriously, when the commission is in the crosshairs, you need to remind the client of the job done that you signed up for with the initial payment structure. You need to say it with a smile and move on. Number 8, time kills deals. Of course, that's a cliche, but cliches become cliches because they're absolutely true. We've all experienced this. So you as a closer, you have to make and show progress. Sometimes when progress is not available, even if the update is no change yet, but here's what I'm watching, here's what I'm expecting, here's what I did to follow up. Staying silent stalls the process. Number 9, and I can't emphasize this enough, you've got to develop thick skin. Conflict in a deal is normal. Conflict at a closing table. As you inch towards an emotional finish to a deal, conflict will absolutely rise up and punch you in the face. So you have to be ready. Develop thick skin for when things get bumpy. Look, sometimes people just need to feel heard. They've got a lot of skin in the game. Sometimes people need to vent. Maybe it's just listening. Maybe it's correcting. But of course, smooth is ideal. Rough and closed still counts. So you be the one that reminds all parties of the greater perspective. Literally on this deal this week, there was a couple small details we were handling, and I was able to rise up and share with the client, yes, this is annoying, and yes, we don't understand it fully, but let's look at the picture of the entire deal, when it was bought, the cash flow, what the return was. That bigger picture makes the smaller issues look exactly what they are, small. Number 10, time is not the only thing that kills deals. Pride kills deals. I've often found myself working with someone and you get the sense that they need to win an ego war. You can't exist in the real estate world to build your own ego. You have to exist to serve the deal, serve the process. And that means you're not taking anything personally, especially when emotions run high. Remember your true identity, whether it's in your faith or your family, and stay steady. Don't let your identity be thrown into question by someone else's frustrations or complications. This job and being a closer, it's not about you. It's about the result for the client. So take you out of it, take me out of it, and remember the bigger picture. Number 11, for all brokers, you're very dangerous if you have a financial cushion. In saying that, I understand that it's easier said than done. My point is, if you need the closing fee to survive, you're in trouble. In deals, when you can walk away, freedom and power come from having a little financial breathing room. So store up that ramp. That way, whenever threats to walk away are thrown at you or your party, you've got options because of the breathing room. All right, folks, number 12, you need to be the grittiest person in the deal. Is there a zoning issue? No, there's not. I'm gonna tackle it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna go to the city. Is there a legal snag? No, we're gonna find the expert. I'm gonna talk to the attorney. We're going to figure it out. Is there a use question? I will go with the client before the Board of Adjustments. We will figure it out. We will dig it up. We'll find the information and we'll produce success. You have to understand that as a closer, the buck stops with you. If anyone's gonna be up all night and working to get deals done, it's likely going to be the closer involved. And if that's you, you know prospecting, modeling, financial looks, working in Excel, all those are great and they're a science. Closing is an art. Okay, folks, that's 12 ways that you can close deals. I will admit to you, I'm still learning every day, but these 12 ideas, more than any others, they've helped me close real deals with real people in a real world. Now, I'd love to hear from you. If you've got a closing insight of your own, something you felt I missed, drop it in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. Folks, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.